the auntie, as it were. But she were young and excitable. She didn't understand that overreaching had been the death knell for far too many crime families before us. Getting too big for our britches were a good way to get all a Grimm down on our asses, and that was a fight we'd no win, no matter how good we were. Course, right now, I were thinking Humpty were doing his damnedest to betray our gentleman's agreement. That double-crossing harpy. No doubt it were him responsible for my currently being trussed up like a Christmas turkey. I glowered beneath me hood. One second I'd been asleep, and the next I was out here, shivering, naked in the cold of night, tossed unceremoniously down. I tried to get up, but I'd been cuffed in me left ear for the effort, and I felt the warmth of blood still oozing out. Me boat pitching up and down on the waters. Reason why Grimm PD, or the Bureau of Special Investigations, hadn't found us was because we were grounded birds. We lived not in the skies we ruled, but upon the waters themselves, traversing the realms on the legendary Jolly Roger. An old ship, but a well-maintained one. The previous owner had met a grim end, but he'd been a lawman of sorts once, and as such had been granted access between realms through the Jolly Roger. I snarled as I heard the shuffling of boots come up and over the ladder of the ship, landing on the warped wooden planking, before turning and walking off in the opposite direction. The sounds of their steps fading into the distance. A foreboding shiver of black ice skated up me spine. I couldn't explain it, but I sensed deep down that this weren't simple mutiny I dealt with here. Humpty hadn't just betrayed me. He'd done far worse. I just knew it. A cold wind feathered along me naked body, and I felt the squeeze of me feathers itch to burst through me pores, so as I could fly far, far away. But whoever had grabbed me had placed a grounding cuff on me wrist, nullifying me body's natural ability to turn. Every time I tried, I felt a sharp thrill of fire zap through me blood. I ground down on my back teeth so hard I was sure my teeth would turn to dust. I wiggled, fighting to work off the restraint in the rope so I could finally get up. But whoever had bound me had done a hell of a job. I couldn't even move the damned rope an inch. Me skin felt raw at the wrists and wet. There was the stench of blood in the air. My blood. Panting, breathing heavy from my efforts, I tamped down on the panic that were trying its damnedest to take me under. I needed to remain calm, rational. There were always a way out of any mess. Hells, I were the one and only Black Angus that done broke out of the maximum security prison of Grimm, warded by multiple level 10 witches. If I could do that, then I could surely do this. I just had to think. I had to stop worrying and just think. I blew out a harsh breath, feeling myself getting slowly centered again. I strained to listen, wondering what had happened to me crew. There was too much silence. I had a gang of nearly 100. Surely someone should have found me up here by now. Me men were loyal, always had been, and I'd no go squawking a boot begging for help. If I did, that was the quickest way to be forced to walk the plank. No man respected a captain what couldn't hold his own. But the mere fact that none of them had even crossed paths with me here were worrisome. Where the hells was I? I smelled the brine of sea air, felt the cool brush of the winds, and heard the rustling of the sails. I was most definitely out of doors, and on the deck. I weren't hidden below and out of sight. No, I was out where anyone and anything could see me if they'd had a mind to. I wet my lips, tasting a hint of something metallic and irony. I split me lips somehow. I glanced left and right, but saw nothing but darkness. Whatever they placed over me head didn't let in even a sliver of light. What the hells was this? Again I twisted me body, trying in vain to stretch apart the ropes they'd bound me with. But trying to undo those knots was like trying to tear through steel with me bare hands. There was magic at work here, the very darkest.